Hey Valimiddle, welcome back to another math lesson. Tonight we're going to be working with the distributive property. Before we do that, let's get going with our trivia question of the day. Who are these guys? Fun group of guys. I'll give you the answer to that tonight after our instruction. Officially tonight our target is I can use the distributive property to rewrite expressions. Let's do this thing. Two important words we got to start with here tonight. First of all, evaluate. Evaluate means to solve something, give the answer to it. Distribute means to pass out. Now tonight, we're going to do some evaluating, we're going to do some distributing, and we're going to distribute and we're going to pass out a number. Just like Johnny Rotten, if I asked him to distribute some papers, he would pass them out. The distributive property works the same way. Take a look at this problem here. 4 times the quantity of 3 plus 2. Now, order of operation says you do the parentheses first, right? So you'd have 4 times 5. You add these together first. And then 4 times 5 is 20. That's 4 groups of 5. Here they are. It's a crude picture, but it works. Well, we can also distribute out that 4. Instead of taking the 4 times the 5, we can pass it out. We can say, I'm going to take 4 times 3, and I'm going to add that to 4 times 2. So 4 times 3, here's 4 groups of 3, that's 12. And then 4 times 2, 4 groups of 2, that's 8. We still get the same answer of 20. But we're rewriting it using the distributive property. Why would you ever want to do this? Sometimes it makes problems easier. Sometimes when you get into 7th and 8th grade, you have some variables or letters thrown in here, like an A, which means you can't add these two together, but you can distribute it out and break it down further. So we're just getting you ready for some of those harder things. And so let's just take a look at another problem here. Same problem. Here is 3 times a quantity of 2 plus 3. Now the way you would evaluate this, written in this form, you do the 2 plus 3 first, which is 5, and take the 3 times 5, and you have your 15. In the same problem, I could take and distribute out this 3. I could say I'm going to take the 3 times 2 and get 6. I could take the 3 times 3 and get 9, and I could add those together and get 15. Same answer, okay? Written different ways. Sometimes it's faster to work with this. Sometimes it's faster to break it apart. Sometimes I can't do this in my head, but I can do this in my head. And there's another reason why it's important to know how to rewrite these. So let's take a look at a problem here and look at some of the different ways that we maybe would rewrite this. So here's this problem here, 5 times 3 plus 2. So we could rewrite it this way. Instead of putting the times sign, we could use brackets. We could say 5 times 3 plus 5 times 2, or these two lines are exactly the same. Get how it has some different looks to it, and I'll talk more about that in our math lesson that follows this. So just all the different ways that this could be rewritten. Ultimately it ends up in the exact same problem, but I just used parentheses instead of multiplication sign there. All right, let's start off with rewriting. Let's see if you can take and rewrite this expression by distributing out the 6. You're going to go from 1 set of parentheses to 2 sets of parentheses. All right, think about that. It's not a pause problem. I'm going to do it for you. So here it is. I distribute out the 6. 6 times 10 is 6 times 2, and it's plus in the middle, so the plus comes down here. Now, if I asked you to evaluate it, we could do that too, but we'd focus kind of on our primary target being rewriting. But, evaluate it, we could have 60. We've got 12, and we add those together. And of course, we have 72. If I can get my screen to go down. There it is. All right, I'm going to have you try your first pause problem. I want you to do the same thing here. See if you can rewrite it. If you can rewrite it with 2 sets of parentheses and you want to try evaluating it, that would be awesome. But at least let's get it rewritten. Okay, let's see how you did. Okay, here's the 5 times the 14. Here's the 5 times the 3. And then we have to subtract, because that's what they're doing here inside the parentheses. They're going to subtract. You went through and evaluated it, you would have had 55. Okay. Well, let's go to the next slide. Now, here we have 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to see if you can rewrite it with 1 set of parentheses. Go ahead and give that a shot. Okay, this one's a yellow one. I'm going to do it for you. Let's take a look here. Well, the 7 is the number that repeats, so that would go outside the set of parentheses, and then we're going to take the 2 and the 3 and put it in, and this is adding, so we're going to add them. So again, the 7 is the repeated number. That's the one we're going to pass out, so we put that out front. The 2 and the 3 go inside, and it's an addition problem, so we put the addition sign in. And of course, you can probably figure out very quickly that that's going to be 35 if you evaluate it. Let's have you try one as a pause problem, so officially here. Here's a problem with 2 sets of parentheses. See if you can rewrite it with 1. Go ahead and evaluate it if you want. Okay, if we rewrite that, the 5 is the digit that is going repeated, so that's the one that we're going to distribute out by putting it out front. Here's the 2 and here's the 3. 5 times 2 plus 3, well, that's really the same as 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, 3 more. See if you can rewrite these problems using the distributive property. Go ahead and pause the video. Well, if you rewrite this one, the 3 repeats, so you could write 3 times 4. I use the brackets like this, and 3 times 5, same thing. You have a plus in the middle. I guess I wrote it out that way as well. You can see either way is fine. Okay, in this one here, the 4 is the number that is being repeated. So if you rewrite that, the 4 would go out front, and then the 4 and the 6 go in the middle, and here's a plus sign, so that's 4 plus 6. And you notice I didn't use brackets on this one, because order of operations would say we'd have to do this first here, and then this, right? And then we do the addition. So you don't really need them, but I can distribute that 8 out and put it here as 8 times 3 plus 5. Now you're going to notice these little arrows that I put all the time. That's to help me remember that when I do this, I'm going 3 times 4 plus 3 times 5. And when I have an answer that way, I can break it down by going 8 times 3, 8 times 5. I highly suggest you put those in. I've been putting them in for, how long have I been doing algebra? Well, I'm 25, so that makes about 12 years. Okay, let's make it more like about 45 years I've been doing this. Okay, time for your ticket to the show. Rewrite these 2 problems using the distributive property, and go ahead and evaluate them if you can. Alrighty, who are these guys? Should I get my daughter to come over and explain who they are? Let's have her do that. Come on over, Tara. You ready to identify who these people are? Can you get in? There she is. Say hi.
Hi.
Who are these guys?
Oh my gosh, it's Dude Perfect.
Dude Perfect. These guys are YouTubers, and they're pretty funny. If you like trick shots, funny sports things, if you like watching, guys in that 28 to 35-year-old range compete against one another and fight and do dumb things, you'd like Dude Perfect. Try Dude Perfect Overtime 1. That's what I would suggest to start with if you like it. So they're pretty funny. All right. Take care. Bye.